With FamilySearch AI, you may find lots of sources. The question is how to source the information. In this video, I will show ways to make the sourcing more beneficial. In this video, I want to show you how to work with some of these sources. So I'm not going to go over how to use this AI, but I had used this. I went to the go to experiments, and then I put in Dickerson-Jennings, and I came up with, let me see, 36 results. So I've been going through those, and I have found a few different things that I find challenging, and that is to resource it so that when I look at the sources, I know what that source is about. What it does is it puts in this deed book 16, gives this kind of information here. And this is helpful if you notice book 10 and the dates 1768 to 69. And then if we look at 12, it's a later period of time. So if you go by book 12, book 10, you know that this one came first, this one's coming after book 12. So that's a little bit helpful, but it doesn't really tell you what the document is about. And if somebody else is looking at these documents, they need to know why why you put this source in there, other than giving you a chronological view of their life. And it is important to have that. So each one of these, if this is the right George Dickerson, that or not George, I saw George right here, Dickerson-Jennings. And since that's kind of a different name, most of these are that person, but I'm trying to decide. There might be two different Dickerson-Jennings, and I'm trying to figure that out, an older one and a younger one. So I have found a few things in sourcing that I want to show you. And so I did find this will, and down here you'll see that I have Dickerson-Jennings as one of the people that signed it, that this he's a witness or a testator. This was the last will and testament of this Thomas Yarborough. Now, I am not related to Thomas Yarborough, but I wanted to show you how this works. So here I looked up Thomas Yarborough, and I have one born 1717. I put in I clicked on, if you go to here and find, I did that, and it brings me this, and I put Thomas Yarborough, and I know from that will that he died about 1769, and it was in Amelia County. So let me get rid of that. Okay, so I've put him in because I don't know who this person is, but I think that Dickerson-Jennings may be related, possibly, I don't know, but at least he was there on the will. So I have one that died 1769 in Amelia in March. So, and then I've got this one that died here. So I'm thinking these two are definitely the same. And then I have this one that it says he was born 1686 and died 1789. Pretty old. Now look at the name Hannah Jordan, and it says he died after 1789. So this may be a son. And here's another one, but this is in England. So I'm thinking right here, these are the two that I need to work with. So what I would do on this one, because I'm pretty sure this is the same, I'm going to click on this, and it says ID copied, and I'm going to open this one in this tab over here. And I'm actually going to get rid of this tab for now. Okay, and on this one, it has this birth date and death date, which I don't know if that's correct or not, but I'm going to merge this right here. I'm going to put in this ID. And I have the same death date. There's no other information on that one. So there's no reason to have two people like that out here. Okay. And I will say continue. I'm just going to put most vital information relationship match. So that puts that information in there. And you can type something in. They've given you these default ones. It makes it quite easy. But sometimes I do have to put in more information of why I'm combining somebody. Okay, so he has absolutely no sources. So let's go ahead with this will. I'm going to highlight, he should come up, but I'm going to highlight his ID number, and I'm going to go back here to this will. This is a Thomas Yarborough. So one thing before I attach this, I want to find out who in this will, and this is the transcription that the AI did. And I want to show you a few things. I'm going to do Control F, and I'm going to look up the word item, because in the will it starts out and it tells you a little bit about the county that they're in sometimes, and that it says I'm doomed to die, or I'm in good state of mind that I can write this. It tells that. It tells you down here that it's in Amelia County. Here it is. I'm weak, but of sound mind. Anyways, that's what the first part of these will start out. But it's where the items are that they start to give it away. So if we can find item, this says I give and bequeath to my son Jordan. So we know he has a son Jordan. Let's look at this Thomas Burrow. Let's see. Does he have a son Jordan? Hannah. There's a son Jordan right there. Okay. Let's go back to the will. He has a daughter Hannah. Okay, and there is Hannah. And actually, I didn't write this down, but I'm going to. So we have Jordan and Hannah. Okay. He has a daughter, Mary, so I'll write that down. We'll check this in a minute here. Mary, and I give to my daughter, Jane. He has a daughter, Jane. Here's a daughter, Catherine. Now, I'm not sure why this AI, but if you'll notice, it says Yarborough, and for some reason, every time that Yarborough comes out 3 times. And I'm not going to take the time to, I go through and read the cursive afterwards and try to help with the transcription. But, okay, I give and bequeath to my son. He has a son, Archibald. Okay. And then down here, my last will is that my wife, Hannah. His wife is Hannah. Okay. So this looks pretty much like that. Okay, and there's no more items, so let's go back over here. A daughter, Mary. Do we have a daughter, Mary? Elizabeth. There's a daughter, Mary. A daughter, Jane. There's Jane. And a daughter, Catherine. I saw Catherine. And a son, Archibald. Okay, so we have other children here that don't show up in that will, and it's either that he gave them something before, or they are not his children, or they had died before he did. But according to these, they died after. So he may have already given them their inheritance, and so they're not getting an inheritance in the will. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach this. Now it says will book 2X with inventories, and then it tells more, and accounting or something. Okay. The date. Oh, let's see. Oh, I have that up here. It was 1769. So let's put that date in, 1769. And a lot of times it's on the next page. I don't want to flip to that next page, but that's where it actually, let's go ahead and do that. It'll take this away. I'll show you what happens. Good thing for me to show you. So when it finishes, here it says, in Amelia County, 1769. So there's the date, and I had already looked at that before. And it's usually down here, 1769, right there, 1769. And then here are people that signed. Okay, and this is a new will of somebody else, John Baker. Okay, so let's go back over here to the first page. And I'm going to go ahead, you have to click attach the tree, but sometime 1769, I'm going to go ahead and put that in. So what I've found is that I copy this, control copy, and I put it down here in the notes. And then I take off this part of it. I leave that first part, and I say will but two, and then I say will, let me put a colon mark, will of Thomas Yarborough. So now when I see that in the sources, I know that that's what this is. It's not just a will book and whose will is it? It's the will of Thomas Yarborough. And then I'm not going to do it right now, but you can go through and copy and paste that transcription from the AI and put it in here. And then try to fix it up. Or if you'd rather, you can sit and type the whole thing. Or you might want to take that transcripted, the AI, copy it into a Word document. And that's probably the best way to do it, is do it over there into a Word document. Fix it up, go through and fix it up so it's correct, and then bring it in and put that will here in the notes. Now the other thing is I'm going to say add to my source box. So I'm going to say next. And because I had Thomas Yarborough up, he should come up. There he is. Because I actually pulled up his account, he's going to come up as a recent. So you could put in his ID number here. This one here, I could have copied that and put it in there and then clicked on the little, whatever you call this, I can't think what it is. Anyways, click on that little button right there. I'm going to click on Thomas Yarborough. And I'm just going to say next. And then it's going to give me his family here, his parents and his siblings. It should give me his, oh, now why doesn't it give me his wife? Okay. Interesting. Thomas Yarborough. Hannah. There's Hannah. Oh. 17. Oh, that's why, because I have this Thomas Yarborough right here. That's the one I have, 1769. Okay, so here we have, I'm pretty sure that this is this Thomas Yarborough here, not this one, because of those names. The wife is Hannah, and then we saw many of those children. So Thomas was not mentioned in that, the son, but we have this one. So I am going to copy this one. So here's an issue that we have. I hadn't noticed this beforehand. Let's just go to this person right here. This is the things that we're trying to find out. 0 sources. Let's see, he has a Mary, he has a Catherine, Archibald, he has a Hannah, and a Jordan. Okay, well maybe, oh this, okay, that's his family. He has no spouse and no children. So I am going to use this, his father, which we will have to change this death date here, because I'm pretty sure that that's who this is right here. So let's go ahead and take that. We'll come back here and we need to come out of here and say attach again. And I'll put in 1769. Okay. And that's why these documents are so good. Okay. All right, I'm going to copy that ID number right there. Okay, I am going to copy this information here, copy that, put it in here, and I'm going to take this out again and put in will of, And there it is. It copied what I had before. You can click on that. Now I'm going to go next. Oh, whoops. Let me go back. Sorry. Go back. I need this ID number. I need to take that out. Okay, now we've got everything correct there. Put in the ID here. And I'll click on that and I get this Thomas Yarborough here. Okay, now his wife was Hannah. I have this written down and I'm going to look for, I think the youngest was Jordan. Okay, Jordan, and then there was a Hannah and a Mary. There's Mary. And a Jane was listed, and a Catherine, and an Archibald. Those were the people listed. Now, those, like my Dixon Jennings, he comes at the end of this document. So he's not listed. He's not a relative, a direct relative. So I'm going to say next. That's the ones that I can put on there. And what's happening is it's going to attach this source to every one of these people. Okay, and here you can put a reason that it is the will of Thomas Yarborough who died. I'll just go ahead and put that in. These people were listed in the will of Thomas Yarborough, who died in 1769, or whose will was written in 1769 in Amelia County, Virginia. Okay. So I'm going to attach that. Okay. So now let's go to this next page. So Hannah Yarborough Sr., and then a John Baker. I don't have him. Now where was my Dixon? Here's Dixon Jennings right here, and William Jennings. 3 of the witnesses. Okay, and a John Robertson. So I have Dixon. Let's look at him. Let's look at his. Right now I'm trying to figure out, I have this, and this is pretty clear, but I'm trying to figure out if he is actually a son of this William Jennings, which I'm pretty sure this is correct. So we have William Jennings, so it could be this William Jennings or this William Jennings. And since it's Dickerson, I don't know. Let's copy that number. And I want to show you, I could go back over here and I could say attach this tree. And I could put in the information and it has that. But I'm going to go to maybe it's my 3 dots here. Nope, it is under my name. Nope, I'm on Google. I need to go out of here. And I go to this way. Okay, here's my source box right here. So let's go to the source box. I want to show you how to use this. Did I not? Oh, I forgot to redo it. Okay. I forgot to do that. So what did I do with my will? Did I get rid of the will? Sorry. Okay, so let's refresh this. He should have one source here. Okay, he doesn't, because I attached it to the father. Now he has one source. Okay. So let's go to this will again, because somehow looks like I got rid of that will. Okay, here it is. So let's attach, and I'm going to say add to source box 1769, I believe it was. And I'm going to go ahead and add it next. I'm going to add it to I have him right here, Dickers. So I'm going to put him there, and I'm going to do this, and I am not going to attach to this William, his father, or his brother. His brother's down here, okay? Because I want to show you how to use the source box. When I redid it, I didn't click on the source box. Okay, so so let's go back over here and go to me, source box. That should be there. Yep, there it is. Okay, so on this one, did I get rid of my Thomas? Why am I getting rid of documents? Maybe. Okay, I'm not doing so good here. I am getting rid of things that I need. So, well, I do this quite often. Let's come here and I'll show you how to find it's pretty fast and pretty easy. So if I go to recents here, I can go to Dixon right here and it will pop up. Okay. All right. So I've got I'm going to say that I'm going to guess that it was probably his brother. All right. So where is my source box? Here's my source box. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to say attach, and then it's going to ask who, and I'm going to say by ID. And then it will tell me it's William C. Jennings, and I'm going to go ahead and attach that. And I could have written in there that he was one of the witnesses for the will. That probably would have been better if I'd done it. The more that you document, the better it is. Okay. So that's how you use the source box. And to clear that out of the source box, I'm not going to go over that. I have another one on using the source box if you want to watch that video. So now, if I go to the details, I see that I have one source for this Thomas Yarborough. He now has a source. And if I look at Catherine was one of his children, and you see right here that there's one source there for her, and for Mary there's probably one source. So this family really needs somebody to go through and find records on them. Let's go over here. I've shown you Dickerson. Okay, I've shown you that. Let's go to the labs and go to experiments. I'm going to put in Thomas Yarborough in Amelia County, Virginia. Okay, there comes Virginia. And then I'm going to say 1700 to 1780, just because records come up afterwards where they're fixing up things on the will, or the inventories come up after. And let's do a search. Let's see. No results. Okay, that's really interesting. I would think that we would have let's try just Yarborough. I think I spelled that wrong. Yarborough. I think there's an R in there. No results. Well, very interesting. Let's look at that will. Huh. That's the first time I've had that happen where, okay, let's see if I misspelled it maybe. T and quotation marks. Oh, there we go. So I had misspelled something in his name. Oh, there's the R. See that I had misspelled it. So 72 results. So there's a lot of research that could be done on this family here to go through each one of these. In fact, I do want to do one or two. So this is 1749. Said Yarborough. Okay, let's just go ahead and click on this first one. This is a deed. This is this indenture that tells you that he's purchasing or selling land between, it tells you the year, in the year of our Lord 1753. And it's got it right here, 7053. So if you can't read this, you can read it, but I do know that they mess that up quite often, that number's messed up. Between Thomas Barrow of the parish of Nottoway, which is part of Amelia, of the county of Amelia, and Jeff Wallace of the parish and county of aforesaid part. Okay, this said Yarborough considerations. So Thomas Yarborough is selling to Jeff Wallace. So let's go ahead and attach this record. And it was said 53. I just love these because they're these old records where we just have so little information. There's no census records. Sometimes there's tax records, but it's really hard to find information about families in these early colonial time period. Okay, I am not going to put any notes in here. I'm just going to leave it like this. And I'm going to say next. I'm not going to add it to the source box, but if you wanted to put some of these people, try to find these people and attach it to them, you would probably need to do it into the source box. Okay, let's see if Thomas comes up. Here he is. I'm going to do this one because I don't know much about this Thomas. Okay, so I'm going to attach it. And I don't see any. Usually, if it's going to list the wife, she's going to be up here to say Thomas Yarborough, and it would say Hannah, his wife. And quite often you can find the wife's name when they're selling land because of that. Okay, attached to tree. Okay, now let's go to Thomas and read. Now I have two sources. So let's say you go through and you attach a lot of these records. So you can imagine if you have deed 5, this is what you're going to be seeing and I've done this where I just went through and attached it like I just did on some of my people, and I found like, oh my goodness, let's see, what was that one about? Who did he sell to? I can tell it's a deed where he's selling land, but it doesn't tell me much. So what you can do is you can go in here afterwards, after you've attached it, and sometimes you may not have time, so you just want to attach it and then come back in and do this. You can click here and it will give you it will give you this record right up here. So I'm not going to click on it because I already have it up here. Okay, so then I can say edit. And now I can take this and I can click on this, say copy, and I can put this down here in the notes. Okay. And then I can get rid of this here, and I can then say Thomas Yarborough is how you spell his name, sells to, and it was a Wallace, I can't remember, Jeff Wallace. Okay, back over here to Jeff Wallace. Now in that deed, it's going to give you information about where that land is. It'll give a description of it, and many times it will list the neighbors. and I have a record on looking at deeds and land records. So if you want to learn more about learning about the description, look at that, find that video on land deeds, land records. Okay, that's all I want to do. Let's see, I go back here. So now I have that here. Okay, yeah, so if I do copy this information, let me go ahead and do that. So on here it says in this indenture, so I would look for that in this indenture. Okay, and I go all the way down to this, down at the end, William Fitzgerald is what I'm looking for. Thomas Yarborough. Okay, it's probably the very end of the document, right there. And you can see how that's a William Fitzgerald. So let's copy that, and I'm going to show you here. So edit this, okay. I can come here and I can paste that in. And I can change this because I know that was William, well, that's how they had it spelled, and this was Fitz, F-I-T-Z Gerald. Something like that. Let's go back here and look. Fitzgerald. It is an A, okay. Whoops. Okay, with an A. Okay. I'm not going to go through and fix that up, but that would be something I would probably, after this video, I will take that information, put it in Word, and fix it up. But at least it's there, so you don't have to go to the document. You can read it right here. Otherwise, you have to click on this to go to the document and see the information. But at least now we know that he obviously had land beforehand. He purchased it, and this is in Deed Book 5. So I'd have to learn the history of Amelia, which I don't know when it became Amelia. He may have purchased it when it was another county, and then it became Amelia, and so he's now selling it in Amelia, but he purchased it when it was, before it was known as Amelia. Or there is a record in an earlier deed book. So let's look at the results on Thomas Yarborough. Let's see, we have a book 9, book 6. There's his will. There's 5. Here's a land patent. So maybe this is 74. So this is probably when he purchased the land. So you can quickly look through here, and you could go in order. You could click, okay, that's going to be the first one, that land patent. And then there was book 4, so I might do book 4. And then go back up here and do book 5, and then do 6. I just go down in order because it puts them in that order when you put the date in. Anyway, so obviously there's quite a bit more research that can be done on this family here. But I'm hoping that that shows you how to work with these sources. I have been working with somebody who I'm putting this information in, and it takes time to get it in and document it. And in my mind, I knew who the father was, because this brother on one document said it was my Thompson, Samuel Thompson, and his wife Anne, and in his will he assigns his brother-in-law Joseph Jennings to be an executor. So I knew that Anne's brother was Joseph Jennings, and so I put in a Mr. Jennings, a parent, so that I could put the 2 in there. And I had that record, that will, in there to prove that. And so I didn't, in my mind it was okay, I knew that. And then I found another record that Joseph was the son of William, so I knew their father was William. And then I found another document that said that William's wife was Mary, so I put that in. And I had all that documented, but this person keeps deleting them out. This was the 3rd time that he deleted out, just unattached everything that I had on Anne. Not the sources, but he had unattached William and her brother and everything that I had done. And so I realized I've got to do more. So I'm going to do another video on how to try to make sure that people understand how you're coming to the conclusions that you're coming to. So that will be the next video. Thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful. Happy hunting!